This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
All right, everybody, and welcome to episode 11 now. 11 of the Outcasts with Buzz and Juice here. To my left, I got my man, Juice.
What's up, Buzz? How we doing?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm great. We're hanging out here, having a great day. It is currently 5:30 p.m. Central Time. I am drinking my Mountain Dew Ice because I don't want to have beer.
Well, we've got some stories to go on in a minute here, but go ahead, buddy.
Well, I was gonna say there's a reason I can't drink beer is because I don't want to be an enabler.
Right. Well,
I'll let you lead into what you got to say.
This is the first time he's seen me in about a week, maybe a little over. It's been a nice little break, but I was dealing with some issues in my chest all week, and it's not fun. If you're watching on YouTube, I got my little cotton swab here. Yeah. They took blood today, and as you can probably tell, I'm not the most energetic as I normally am. But podcast doesn't stop on account of me having some health issues. I'm gonna be okay. Got a couple tests in the making. I'm gonna find out more tomorrow. But Brad asked me if I wanted to do it. Thanks for writing up the show, and I know we kind of tit for tat, when it comes to who can write it up or whatnot, and
basically
he helped me out.
Who has the time, that week or whatever like that. I'm glad you're good.
It's scary
situation,
and I mean stress, and for all of our listeners, take care of yourself. At the end of the day, you're nothing without your health.
Yeah, don't let stress eat you alive, or
some people they run themselves dry, and I seem to do that to myself often. And this is for real. We're real people. That with real issues, and it wasn't very fun this last couple days dealing with not knowing what your health is going to be. But I'm better, so I'll be okay.
He's on the up and up.
Yeah, still able to watch sports, which is cool. I'm not maybe just lay off the juice for a little bit.
Lay off the juice, man. Oh no.
But that's why we're drinking water tonight and
Mountain Dew
over here, and we're gonna have a good time.
Aaron.
And it's also bases loaded show because they got the Bulls finally know where they're picking at, and
now this makes it so much easier for us to talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
The endless mock drafts, 80.0s and everything. Now we know where to pick.
Halfway easier, Buzz.
Yeah,
halfway easier.
Oh, easier.
Because there's a lot of question marks up here in the top of the draft.
Well,
who
would have thought that coin flip would screw us and we could have been in the top 3 and now we're
what they say
7.
in White Men Can't Jump. Sometimes you win. And you really
Remember
lose.
how stoked I was when we won?
Sometimes you lose.
Oh, man.
You really win.
Yeah, no shit.
So,
all right, well, if you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe on this video. If you are listening on iTunes, which we're not there yet, but we will be eventually, please drop us a 5-star rating and a comment down below on why you chose to listen to us. If you want to earn yourself some cool prizes, there's a bunch of different tiers they're called on patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcasts. Go check that out. Earn yourself some cool prizes by donating. If you would like a cool-ass t-shirt, an MVP t-shirt, you can go to mostvaluablepodcast.com, find a t-shirt in the shop section, and there's an About Us section where you can learn about everybody. Also, for all your sports literature needs, please go to sportsmockery.com for any Chicago sports need covering the Bulls, Blackhawks, White Sox, Cubbies, and the Bears. Over at Sports Mockery, I am now covering the Bulls and the White Sox for them.
You're like the 5-tool player over there.
Yeah, I'm just making shit happen. But yeah, so, just be sure to do all that. Also, shout out to our friends real quick over their new podcast dropping called Pinwheels and Ivy. If you're a huge baseball fan.
Which we are.
We will be listening to that once it drops. Just be sure to check that out. Those guys are really cool. It's Zoe, Matt, and I believe Aldo is on that also for Sports Mockery. You guys check them out. And then check out the shows on our Most Valuable Podcasts family, the Fast Break, the Onside Kick, and the Primetime Podcast. So, yeah, just be sure to check out all that cool stuff and whatnot. And leading right in here with the bases loaded, I'm getting ready. 0-1 count here. Swing away.
Swing and a miss if you're the White Sox lately.
Too early.
We'll get into that.
All right, yeah.
No, but we're going to go right into what everybody really wants to talk about. And
absolutely.
that's that the Bulls found out through some bad luck, essentially, because if they lose the coin flip, they have the third pick.
Yeah. It was.
That's second pick. Second pick.
Yeah, Sacramento gets second. It was like Phoenix, and then
In Sacramento. I thought.
yes, they were somewhere. Yeah, Phoenix,
Right.
Sacramento, Atlanta.
My mistake.
No, you're right.
Yes,
they have
I
the
am
second
right.
pick.
I am right.
Phoenix, Sacramento, Atlanta. So that sucks. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to dwell on it or whatever, because you know what? I've said it before and I'll say it again. Would having DeAndre Ayton be awesome? Yeah. But I just feel like with all the hype train and shit behind Luka Doncic and Marvin Bagley, we would take one of them, and I really don't want either of them.
I'm with you on that.
So I think everything happens for a reason,
Okay.
and we might be getting a diamond in the rough here.
So, like, us being Cubs and White Sox fans, I have always been the glass half full. You have always been the glass half empty. Because that's what White Sox... in this city,
That's
this
just
seems
life,
to
too.
be what this is. Now, this may be the one time we have a role reversal, and you are the half full, and I am the... what did we really sit through this whole season for? You know?
Right.
But we're going to get into it. Go ahead. First of all, let's just start about your first pick here. Bullet point here, not pick, because that's what the pick says. Who's the safe pick in this?
Mikal Bridges is a safe pick.
Yeah,
If
and that's also the wrong pick.
it is the wrong pick.
And
at seven.
and we've talked about this on the podcast. I love him. I think he's going to be a great player. But what did we suffer through all last year for a 3-and-D? You know, I mean, I love the kid. I think he's going to be great at what he does, but he's a spot-up shooter. That's what he is. And he was the third best option on Villanova.
Yeah, the good thing about him is that he is a plug-in-play type player, but I don't think the Bulls are going to go for that this year because off of what Paxson said, and you listened to it with me, Paxson said they're drafting high potential.
Right, and as they should.
So who's the high potential? You know, and that's why I'm saying that Mikal Bridges is a safe pick. Am I going to be pissed off if we get him? No, I'm not. But I think there's going to be better players on the board. Obviously, mock drafts are mock drafts. We don't know what the hell's going to happen until it happens. But everything that I've been reading has a Trae Young or a Colin Sexton going in the top 6.
Yeah, I don't know if that holds any water though. Do you?
I mean, because it doesn't, because it's a mock draft.
Well, that's the other thing too.
People love to just watch mock drafts and be like, and they watch a million of them.
And I think that with the case, obviously, you're talking a lot about the Magic with the pick ahead of us, because a lot of people think. I think people think too recently about things because, excuse me, the trade deadline saw them trade away a point guard. And yes, they need a point guard. But really, if you look at that roster, they need everything. They need help everywhere.
Well, the Magic, you're absolutely right. The thing is with them is who's their point guard? They don't have one. Evan Fournier is doing a good job playing their 2. They drafted Jonathan Isaac out of Florida State last year. Aaron Gordon, are they going to retain him? Are they going to keep him?
Well,
he's got a high ceiling.
And that's $1 million question, too, because there are some people in the league saying that Michael Porter Jr. could play the 4. So
he can't.
And that's your opinion, but there are people in the league who are saying it.
They're dumb.
And I mean, Golden State plays with a small lineup like that, too, and they're doing all right now.
Yeah,
Obviously
right.
not from last night, but the thing that I really look at you look at the Magic, are they going to retain Eric Gordon? If they don't, not Eric Gordon, Aaron Gordon. My mistake. If they, obviously we were just stuck on this Houston series. If they don't retain Aaron Gordon, they have a need at the 4, and if they believe that Porter Jr. could play the 4 in the NBA and go small, then that seems like the high pick for them, don't you think?
I think that the pick for them there would be Wendell Carter.
Interesting.
Because Wendell can step out and hit the midi.
Yeah.
And he could play his good footwork in the paint, and pairing him next to Nikola Vujicic, I think, would be good for them. But this is where it's crazy for the Bulls. There's so many possibilities. So hypothetically, say you have your DeAndre Ayton, your Luka Doncic, your Marvin Bagley, and your JJJ off the board, right? 5, 6, and 7 are so, still star kind of studded, where I'm saying, if Dallas decides... okay, well, we're gonna take Bamba,
which I think they need to. That seems
they need to at this point. Yeah, they need to at this point.
The kid's went to school in Texas. He's been underneath their
Did
thumb
you see the story on him from yesterday?
I did.
Out of 50 3-pointers attempted, guess how many he drained?
How many?
40.
Wow,
that's insane, and that's NBA range.
See, and that's all well and great, man, but. This is, and Danny said it too when we had Danny on, Danny Parkins. If you didn't have that, watch that interview yet, find it. It's amazing. He is so knowledgeable.
So shout out to Danny.
Everyone looks good in a workout, and everyone
absolutely.
looks good when they're shooting in the gym with maybe 1 or 2 cameras on them.
Well, and I like Danny Parkins, and he is very knowledgeable. This is what he does for a living and everything like that. But if there's one thing that I pride myself on in all sports, obviously we know football really well. We're Bears season ticket holders. I'll give you the baseball edge on me every day of the week. But when it comes down to college basketball, I will. I mean, it's honest. Like, I know my baseball. I know enough to write about it and have intelligent conversations. You just know the ins and the outs and maybe a little bit more history than I do.
Okay.
I give you that for sure. But when it comes to I'm a stupid college basketball nut.
You love
stupid.
And for our viewers, a lot of the times when we do these Bulls and NBA college or this college talk, a lot of times I do ask your opinion because I value it a lot higher than the things that I read. But all these guys are going to go through these workouts, and we're going to talk about a guy in Michael Porter Jr. that maybe is able to influence where he goes because there is so much rumor out there that he's not dedicated, maybe not healthy. But like I said, I feel like these workouts and the combine needs to be taken with the smallest grain of salt, just like you take your NFL combine.
Okay, yeah.
And you need to see what happens on the court. And see, this is the thing for Porter Jr., other than this high school tape, we don't have nothing.
Right.
So,
well,
so this is like, he is the $1 million question on all of it.
But we found out now, though, that he's going to participate in the combine,
right,
which means he has to release some medical records.
Right, but he's going to have his interviews. He's going to have opportunities to influence. It's the same thing that Ball did last year. Ball, what did he do? He wanted to go to the Lakers. The whole camp, his dad, the whole crazy circus said, "I am not playing for
anybody but the Lakers." Right.
So what happens? He gets passed on for the number 1 pick, and the Lakers take him.
I'm still convinced right now that it's going to be an MPJ, Jonte Porter kind of draft, if Jonte's still there. But what I wanted What I wanted to say real quick, though, about this whole thing is, like, obviously, if MPJ falls to us, I want him. I wanted to address something that I listened to on the fast break. While we do like MPJ,
there are plenty of other players.
There are plenty other. If I don't get
with
Michael Porter Jr., I'm not upset. I'm not clamoring for they need to draft him or it's over, because it's not. There's a couple guys on this list now that I know that we're picking at 7 that I actually might take higher than 13th. And talking to our buddy Keith over at Bulls Scripted, we've been talking a lot about it. A guy that I'm very interested in right now is 18-year-old, 6'9", Kevin Knox.
Yeah, and I don't know if you were watching the highlights of his workout. I think it was yesterday.
Yesterday, it was.
He looks athletic.
Fast.
He looks quick.
Good stroke on the
shot. Was
shot.
able to shoot the jump shot a lot better than I thought. He's a decent shooter.
He is, and it's sneaky because they didn't really run a lot of plays for him to be jump. Well, you know how Calipari's offense works at Tucky.
He's got so many pieces he's got to make happy the whole time. It's hard for one to stand out unless you're a John Wall or you're a Derrick Rose or
Right. So I mean,
obviously Derrick Rose was at Memphis, not at Kentucky, but as I'm wearing his jersey today, I was rocking the D Rose today.
D Rose.
But yeah, to me, this draft comes down to what the Hawks do at 3, what the Grizzlies do at 4, and what the Magic do at 6. Is that not? I mean, because if one of them screws up, 1 out of 3, you're going to be left with a really big talent and you're not forced to take Bridges.
Well, this is the thing. When the draft order has now switched, but that's like the thing was when people like do I was saying before, they do all these mock drafts and stuff. You start watching all these mock drafts and you're like, you don't know what team is picking where, and then you get into your head, well, this is gonna for sure happen. No, you see what just happened with Sacramento jumping all the way up. I didn't think they were gonna jump all the way up from 7
I didn't either,
like that.
and I really wish we would have lost the coin toss.
I know. So it's like I didn't think they were gonna jump up from 7 like that. So who are they gonna take?
Did you know that was like the first coin toss that the Bulls won in like 5 tries, and then we get stupid like that,
and then we get F'd in the A.
Well, that's how it works.
Yeah, of course, but
which I don't know if you saw. I tweeted at you. Palmer House is one of my accounts for work. So we could have went.
When did you do that?
Yesterday.
Or
Tuesday.
Tuesday, I missed that.
We were about half an hour before the draft, which meant we were about the lottery, which meant it was about an hour before they actually did the ping pong balls. Because that was, I love watching the lottery, but it's just so much bullshit lead in.
Oh yeah, no,
like that was
stupid.
like 45 minutes of like her introducing each and every person that was sitting there, and she didn't even know who Michael Finley was.
Yeah, I got stuck at a meeting, so I didn't even actually make it home till like 6:30. So there would have been no way we were making it downtown for the party that we got invited to.
No shot. But I mean, still, like I said, man, if it's ever here again, it's at Palmer House. We're going.
Now, hypothetically here, man, I'm gonna throw these couple of questions at you real quick. Obviously, we both agree that the safe pick here at 7, if the top guys are gone, and by the top guys, I'm talking about Ayton, Doncic, Bagley, JJJ, Bamba, and Porter.
Right.
Now, if the top guys are gone here,
we suck.
I know, no shit. If the top guys are gone here, and we have already agreed that Mikal would be probably the safe pick because you pretty much know what you're going to get right away from him. Who is the pick that you would take at 7 with the most upside that you think you can develop? Because I've heard a lot.
Hard.
Right, I know it is. I've heard a lot of different comparisons. I've heard a lot of different choices, and my two are just because I want them in this position is Miles Bridges and Kevin Knox.
Yeah, see, but like at 7, Kevin Knox, like
I don't know.
it also depends, like.
I mean, because who else?
Right.
If you don't take your safe pick, because I'm not taking Colin Sexton or Trae Young.
No, I don't want either. But
I don't want either of them.
It just seems so much if they don't get Porter, they're taking Mikal, right? Doesn't it? Like if they're not able to get Bamba, like other than that, like this, and this is what pisses me off because these like these bullshit wins that were
the Nico wins
in like April, like the beginning of April and like the end of March. Not April, March. That's stupid talk, Kyle. But like the stupid
February.
wins at the end of the end of the season, we're like, why are you doing that? Like, what did we suffer through all year? If we get a 3, and that's no knock on Mikal Bridges. I think he's going to be a great player. I think he's going to be plug and place. But the Bulls need the guy. Like, and Mikal Bridges is not the guy. Otherwise, you're betting on Levine being
the guy.
Or maybe Markkanen taking a huge step, another huge step.
And people got to stop expecting Lowry to, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not going to be the guy, but it's very unlikely, guys, that a guy that plays Lowry Markkanen's position is going to be the guy that wins you games. Like, it's more of a guard and like a LeBron James, Kevin Durant driven league. Like, look at all the,
right.
Who besides AD, who is a big man that leads their team to victory on a consistent basis in the NBA?
There's not.
So, DeMarcus Cousins didn't do it, and he's one of the best centers in the league. So before everybody starts saying DeMarcus Cousins, before the first time he would have made the playoffs in his career would have been this year if he didn't get hurt.
Right.
So
and that's Sacramento's a whole mess in itself. But
right.
No, this is Sacramento. They got something, man.
They're
gonna be a great team.
But I can't see them. Okay, so De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield. They already got Bogdanovich.
Right.
And he played really good for a rookie last year. That's why I don't see them taking Luka Doncic. I don't see them doing that because I'm telling you what.
Do you still think it's so cut and paste that the Suns are taking Ayton at number 1?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Because
they got the coach.
They got Luka Doncic's old coach.
Right.
And plus, I was looking at a bunch of stuff online, reading about, doing some research on it, and they're not talking about rolling, Luka Doncic at being a shooting guard / small forward, how he's built. The new trend with the big point guards is going to be Luka Doncic running your point and then having D-Book at your 2, Josh Jackson at your 3, your 4, I'm drawing a blank, I don't know why, but I know your 5 would be Dragan Bender. Your 4, maybe Marquise Chris. I mean, somebody like that.
Whatever. That would be so Suns, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. But that's the thing. Is Luka gonna be what they're touting him up to be? He's young.
Well, if anybody knows, it's the guy who coached him.
Right, and
that's.
It's not a for sure thing.
But isn't it so odd they got the number 1 pick after recently signed? Dude, the NBA is so weird.
Can you ask that question again?
Isn't it so weird that they got the number 1 pick and they have the choice to take their own guy? Like,
no,
the NBA is so weird. Like,
no, it's bullshit.
It's all storyline.
Doesn't make any sense. It's got a team that's been in limbo since Steve Nash left.
And they ain't gonna get any better.
And they're not gonna. No. It's just like
they're gonna mess it. Even Charles Barkley says it. Phoenix is gonna mess it up.
Yeah, they're gonna mess it up. A fun question for you. Obviously, with the most upside, you're not sure if you want Knox or Bridges at 3 or Miles Bridges, that is, at 3.
But let me just real quick. The 7th pick, to me, in this whole draft, like looking through it, is like kissing your sister. Like from where they're at. When it comes to like where the Bulls are at, when it comes to the needs that they have, like there are a million other players that I probably have more upside.
That is the dumbest mock draft I've ever seen in my life.
This is stupid.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at it on a sense of what.
Yeah, no, I see that. I'm just letting you know that's really whoever wrote that should be fired.
Luka Doncic to the 4th, that's terrible. But
whoever wrote that should be fired.
Yeah, like Bagley going 2, that's not happening. But it's just, to me, like the 7th pick, it's like the huge fall off in the top 6. Like it's so drastic to me that. And even, like, after, like, if you look at the picks after, like, I think Trae Young in a Cavaliers uniform, if this mock draft, which we both agree is stupid because College Texans picked in this mock draft by the Magic.
Okay.
I think Trae Young could be a good player for Cleveland. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's a decent fit. Like, I mean, they have Mo Bamba going 9th to the Knicks. Obviously, whoever wrote this is stupid. But, like, I'm just saying, like, where these, like, these picks end up, I think the 7th pick is, like, kissing your sister. Because it's, like, all the small forwards that you want and the impact guys are going to be off the board before you get there, and you don't have a need other than small forward.
Unless we get lucky.
Well,
that's the thing.
Well, we didn't get lucky.
No, we didn't. But
in the lottery, but
maybe the gods will repay us. But this is another possibility. Like, I'm surprised you didn't think Bagley was going to get taken 2nd. I actually think that Sacramento takes Bagley.
Interesting.
I really do. I think obviously if Luka Doncic goes 1st, then they're going to take DeAndre Ayton.
Right.
Okay. But I mean, if DeAndre Ayton goes 1st, DeAndre Ayton goes to Phoenix 1st. I'm assuming that Sacramento probably takes Marvin Bagley, and the reason I say or JJJ, it's either those two.
Who wrote this mock draft? Mark Shanowski.
Did he?
Jeez.
Damn, Mark, your mock
Mark
draft
hates
sucks.
the Kings, and he starts out with this Marvin Bagley pick, and he goes, "This is in the paragraph." He goes, "Never underestimate the Kings' ability to mess things up."
Oh, fantastic.
So I mean, it's interesting. Everything relies on 3 teams here that I said earlier on in the podcast. What the Hawks do they trade out? Because that was a rumor, too, that...
Yeah, they want to move down.
Which, if you're the Bulls...
That's the thing here. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm not overvaluing anybody in this draft, okay? We have a top 7 pick. There's been a lot of players picked at 7 in Chicago history that have been great. The greatest player of all time was picked at number 7 in the 2003 NBA draft. That was Kirk Hinrich, goddammit. But also Luol Deng was picked at 7, even though he was drafted by Phoenix, and we got him in a trade. And also Lauri Markkanen last year was picked at 7. You can get good talent even in this draft at 7. But this is my question. Hypothetically here, man, say Mo Bamba, and these are the 2 that I'm going to put down as, I think, the Bulls' realistic targets, all right? Say Mo Bamba and or Michael Porter Jr. are gone when you come up at 7. Do you package your 7th pick and the 22nd pick, and do you try to go and get one of them?
Try to get who?
Either Mo Bamba or Michael Porter Jr.
Oh, man.
Do you package those 2 picks? Or
Is that all it takes?
Maybe throw in a Denzel or a Bobby Portis.
Yeah, why not? If I truly see Porter Jr.'s physicals... Mm-hmm. And he's fine, and I think that he's the guy. Why not?
Right. We're a rebuilding team anyway.
And this is my thing, too. You don't have a need that's going to make your team any better at 7. And realistically, 22 is great, and we've talked about Mitchell Robinson. We've talked about all these players. But if you were given... I'll present a scenario to you. I can give you Michael Porter Jr. right now, but that's all you're getting. Or you're getting Kevin Knox and Mitchell Robinson. Like...
That fills 2 holes that we need.
Yeah, but see, this is the
Michael
thing.
Porter Jr.
Free agency is also going to happen.
Right.
Like, you're going to have needs, and the Bulls have tons of cap to fill needs.
Right. I mean, if that's the thing, though. If I believe that either Mo Bamba or Michael Porter Jr. are transitional talents and they're going to bring your team to the next level, then yeah, I'm going to trade for him. But if I even have a slight question that his back is fucked up a little bit, I'm not going to do it. And I'm not. And people can get all pissed off. I like Michael
No, but
Porter
it's
Jr.
fair.
In high school,
we're
he
not
was
the
ranked
ones
right.
with the medicals, but
right. I mean, if this dude is what I think he can be, if he's healthy, I don't care what anybody says. He's the best player in the damn draft. But the reason I was telling you before that he can't play the 4, he's 6'9", he's right under 6'10", he's 211 pounds. He's gonna have to put on a lot of weight. Because even Dre, who plays the 4, Draymond, he might be 6'9", but he's 235, 240. You know, he's a thick muff.
yeah,
You know? It's all up in the air.
See, and we started this podcast by saying that we have clear ideas of what's going to happen now that we know what the picking order is, but realistically, we have no clue because
Who our team's going to pick.
first, we have to see his workouts. I think, and I know we've agreed here.
Also, NBA, please invite us to watch those.
If he's, I would love, man, we should just try to sneak in.
Yeah, no shit.
But if he is fine and he's a clear-cut top 4 pick, you know what I mean? That's what he's going to be. And in that case, I think that's more likely that the Bulls end up with Bridges.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what happens.
I'm interested
because Mo Bamba's he's not going to fall. Somebody's going to take him based on what's going on with his workouts and such. But
I'm interested to see what happens within this next month here. Within the next month. I'm very interested to see what happens when the draft does come rolling around June 21st or 23rd this year, something like that. Very interested to see what happens.
Let me read something that this is to go back to our glass half full, half empty. Danny Parkins tweeted out, he's heard some variation that it's okay the Bulls can get a good player at 7. That's where they got Laurie. Donovan Mitchell's the 13th pick. But realistically, no, those people are arguing the exception rather than the rule.
Right.
And it is, because since 2000, the number 1 player in the draft has been the best player 7 times. The second best player 3 times. And the third pick twice. Since 2000, Steph, Kawhi, Giannis, and Donovan Mitchell are the only 4 that have been the best player 7 or at 7. So
at 7 or behind 7.
Right. So, like I said, the 7th pick in this draft, and in most drafts, to me, is like kissing your sister, no matter how deep the draft is. And I don't want to say that they're not going to get it right, because they did last year. They got it right. But they need a lot to happen.
Right, absolutely. But you need things to play out. It's not all black and white. But I'm just glad I know where we're picking now, and I know kind of by researching these teams, seeing reading articles and stuff like that, maybe we can get a insight on who they're going to be picking. But we have had some weird analogies on this show the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, skinning a cat.
Kissing your sister.
Great interview though.
Oh yeah, with Kelly.
Great interview.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly.
Awesome.
Yeah, appreciate your time. Yeah, man.
And a lot of what Kelly said in the interview is playing out.
I know.
It's
fantastic. It's why we wanted to bring on the best content for you guys. But moving on from that, if you guys want to, add into anything that you got for that, if you would move up for Michael Porter Jr. or Mo Bamba or something.
Comment below.
Yeah, comment below and let us know.
Or tweet at us.
That too.
Or tweet at us.
MVP Buzzweed.
At MVP Buzzweed. Juice Man.
At MVP Juice Man. Going to NBA playoff talk here real quick. Let's start off with the awesomeness. The Celtics smack around Cleveland at Boston. Can LeBron and company recover?
Well, you know the old adage.
I am not, and I'm dead ass serious. I am not saying that LeBron is not going to recover, because if I can say that he's done,
I know they're going to come back and win.
They're going to come back and win. So I don't know what's going to happen, but if Boston keeps moving the ball like they do, and if Jaylen Brown keeps having his coming out party as being the best damn player on that team, paired with a wing like Jason Tatum. I'm sorry. If I'm Boston next year, I know that we're getting way ahead because we're just going to talk about the playoffs, but if I'm Boston next year, I am seriously considering trading Gordon Hayward by the trade deadline, if he's playing well, because obviously no one's going to take him because his knee went backwards or his foot went backwards. But
Jaylen Brown
is the future at that position in Boston.
Yeah,
and Jason Tatum is the future at that 3. He's a rookie and he's playing composed.
Well, let me give you an old adage. A series is not a series until someone loses at home. And that has not happened yet.
No, it has not.
So, I mean, we saw in the other series, Golden State, Game 1 came out and looked like they controlled the game. But Houston has the ability in the other series, and that's just kind of to tease what we're going to talk about next, to go into the Oracle and win games as well. I'm not going to say that LeBron James is done, but I'm going to grab a shovel to bury it soon because LeBron James, he's been great. This series is not his fault if he loses because he's putting up 40 points, doing everything he can. But LeBron needs to dig deep down and find somebody on that team that's going to contribute because it can't just be Kevin Love and LeBron James show and expect to beat a well-coached Brad Stevens. Because Brad Stevens seems to put LeBron and company in situations where they don't feel the most comfortable. That's what he's done in this series.
He's basically made LeBron go to the rim. I mean, obviously LeBron had like the other night where he just started off on fire from three-point land. But he's basically shut down everybody around LeBron and made LeBron win. And made LeBron go, not win, but made LeBron do it himself. Which is genius.
Why
doesn't everybody
think of that? Well, I mean, let's say this too. They have the ability to switch every screen too and to not get in bad matchups. And they have the defenders to throw at him. They have 2 or 3 that they can.
Well, it does help having Jaylen Brown because Jaylen Brown can switch on to LeBron. Marcus Morris can switch on to LeBron or whatever Morris brother it is. I think it is Marcus. And then Jason Tatum can switch on to LeBron. Even Al Horford can get up there. You know, like the only one you don't want really guarding LeBron's Terry Rozier in that starting lineup. So
that series has been so one-sided in Boston's favor. But the big question to me is how does Boston's bench play on the road? And how do those young players play when they walk in Quicken Loans? Because it's not necessarily obviously bench players play differently on the road. They always do. That's just a known adage that normal contributions that you get from your Kyle Korvers and your Rodney Hoods, you don't get those on the road. It's just not normal. Your best players are going to have to show up those games. But it's interesting because the way that they've defended LeBron and they've really made him. Game 1, he was a volume scorer. He had to put up a decent amount of shots to get there, and it didn't seem like he was the most comfortable either. And he didn't have a good night. I mean, he had 20. He didn't have very many. He didn't have 40 in Game 1, if I'm not mistaken. But they turned him over. They kept throwing help at him, and essentially, Game 1 was. I mean. They dominated. It's tough.
Well, they did in the third and fourth last night too. So I mean, it was just I think Boston's gonna make a very. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win. They're gonna make a very big problem for LeBron.
It don't matter either. Whoever wins this series is getting smoked by whoever comes out of the West. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah,
they're getting smoked.
I said that in the last podcast. I think whoever's coming out of the West is gonna win, but I'm not gonna. It's kind of getting harder and harder to bet against Brad Stevens.
Yeah, is LeBron's team that bad, or has Brad Stevens been this good?
I think Brad Stevens has been this good,
and I can agree. I think that
because he did the same thing against Philly.
Yeah, but what's he going to do with? He can stop one LeBron, but can you stop 3 others? I mean, you got Steph, you got Clay, you got all these guys you got to worry about.
The cool thing about
and I'm not saying that Golden State's going to win that series, and even if you do that, there's some players on Houston that are going to make you pay if you're
right.
I mean, I
honestly think that if Houston against Boston actually happens, that's going to be a better series than we were all going to think. Because the Boston Houston series, the matchups for Houston are just horrible for Houston, horrible, like bad. Because Jaylen Brown's gonna. I mean, obviously, James Harden's going to get his. He's going to have to work hard for it,
right?
But transitioning into Houston series here. Tied 1-1. This is the thing. I picked Golden State to win, if you remember.
We both did.
The series.
In 6, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
At the Oracle.
How many more games can the Houston role players step up? They combined for 84 points last night. Or 2 nights ago, whatever the game was. I was watching. It was last night, I think. So,
last night.
Can your Trevor Arizas and your Capellas and your Eric Gordons and those guys do that every game?
Well, Eric Gordon's been terrible. He's been terrible that series.
Well, you know who else has been terrible?
Playoffs.
Steph Curry.
Yeah, well, Steph might have something going on with that knee.
Well, what I've noticed about Steph Curry is he's being attacked on defense, and they are making Steph
smart.
Yeah, CP3 is really draining Steph Curry on the defensive end.
Well, they can't hide him because you got a huge mismatch in the post if you put him anywhere.
Right. So it's just not good for them right now. But I mean, KD is just, you can't expect Klay Thompson and Steph Curry to have a bad game like they did again like last night. They're going to come back. Steve Kerr's a very good coach, and he's going to have his guys ready, I think, for Game 3 at the Oracle.
Like I said, in 6.
And they got home court advantage already.
You knew that they weren't going to walk in and take 2. Everybody was talking about a sweep after the first game. That was stupid talk.
Yeah,
I mean,
dumb.
But it'll be interesting because, like we just said, Houston's going to Golden State now, and you're talking about these role players who combined for 84 points. It's on the road. You're going into a hostile environment that is the Oracle, and those teams, the Golden State teams over the past couple of years, they win at home. They don't lose. They don't really lose in general. Really
right.
You look at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Since KD's been there, I think they're 16-4 or something like that.
Yeah, they're really, really just. They're just deep. The team's deep. Houston's deep. They're deep. It's a great series, but I'm still picking Golden State to win the series.
Oh, absolutely. No, and I hope that this series is everything it's supposed to be because I truly think this is the NBA Finals. And Houston coming out and punching them in the mouth last night was good to see because there was a lot of talk they're going to get right. They're not going to go down. It's not going to be a sweep. Anybody who was saying it was going to be a sweep. Do your homework.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you guys enjoyed the NBA playoff talk and our Bulls talk, please just leave us a comment below, tweet at us, tell us your ideas, so we can just further discuss it and everything like that. And just so everybody does know, I know we have a lot of NBA fans out there that watch us, and Bulls fans and just fans alike, of us breaking stuff down.
Ow.
If you donate on Patreon, you rip the tape off?
Yeah.
If you donate on Patreon, there's a tier where you can come on and talk with us.
Yeah, I'd love to have somebody on.
We do have the phone line for fans hooked up now. See this little floppy thing right here? So, if you want to donate on Patreon to come on and talk with us, just, go ahead and do that and let us know. But we're going to transition into our MLB Roundup.
Awesome.
Yep, MLB Roundup. And I'm going to start off with yours team this week, Juice.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And a question that I have for you.
Sure.
Should Almora play every day?
Well, he has been. That's
right.
Cool. He's in the lineup tonight.
Well, I know he's been playing every day, but a lot of people are asking why he's playing every day, which I don't understand why people are asking that. I think
he's been so electric. And I've moved over to the Ian Happ needs to move down motion because they're not doing him any service, giving him limited at bats, and I think that it's kind of messed with his confidence because we've seen it in his swing. Almora's taken this and he's ran with it. And I think it was great. I know I'm going to keep plugging Danny Parkins because I listen to the score a lot. And he came on, he's a friend of the show, and he had Albert Almora on Tuesday when I was listening on the way home. And the coolest thing that Almora said was Danny asked him about left-handed pitching and how he's only starting against left-handed pitching. And Almora says, I think it's kind of crazy that people think I can't hit right-handers. Because if you look at the splits, yeah, sure, maybe he hasn't been as good. Obviously, Almora usually hits over 300 against lefties. His slugging is always up against lefties. He sees left-handed pitching better. It's just known. But actually, he's been really solid against right-handed pitching, batting 284 at the time that I had looked up the stat. And his defense is just so irreplaceable in center field when you're putting guys like Schwarber in left. He makes so much impact when it comes to defensively that it's hard to get rid of a guy like that who, yeah, he's going to hit 280. That's perfect because not a lot of guys in your lineup are hitting over 280, and he plays awesome defense. His wins above replacement has to be up there with some of the best. I wouldn't say that it's up there, but for center field wise, it's definitely higher than his projection. I love Albert Almora, and I think that the everyday lineup with him in it is better because he brings the speed, he brings the fight, he plays with a chip on his shoulder. He's humble because obviously he's just starting his career, and a lot of these guys really love playing with him because if you see him in center field, he lays out, man. He's giving
a great
his effort.
fielder.
He's gonna be in the talk for a Gold Glove. He is because he just cuts. He just cuts off so much. 95% of the war of the diamond is caught, but it's crazy to see like him out there. I know I kind of fumbled through that a little bit, but it's. I think he should be in the lineup every day. He's been hot. He's been hitting. Ride the hot hand until you can't, and then after that, you're going to have Hayward back. And, there's a lot of talk that maybe Hayward should play a little center field more often now. And Hayward's been better than his normal his normal self. But,
right.
I mean, hey, it is what it is. They have so many players on the roster that as much as I want them to make a choice and trade one of them, it's like they're still so young that you can't pull the trigger. And I've seen some Manny Machado talk lately that the John Heyman saying that the Cubs are going to be all in on Manny. I just don't see it.
If you guys have to give up Javi Baez and like Addison Russell to get this guy, it's
the
insane,
talk
man.
was that they would have to give up Hap and probably either Schwarber or Addison Russell.
That's not going to be. That's not enough.
That's too much. Well, and then plus obviously 2 prospects. But this is the other thing too, that the Orioles. This is a rental, so you're going to get some prime. But I wonder how many people are willing to pay prime for a guy they don't know who's going to be back. Like if I'm the Cubs, unless he's coming in and saying yes, he's going to be on the roster next year, I'm not trading anybody, because that's way too much for a rental that realistically it's not a need. Addison Russell is finding his stride here lately. Why are we trying to mess up the lineup and put, especially the defense of it too? Think of Manny Machado I know he could probably do it. He's a great fielder. But he's going to have to play short if he plays for the Cubs.
He has actually been playing a little bit of short with Baltimore
and I know
this
he's
year,
been okay, but
he's been doing well.
The Cubs are so touted with their infield when it comes to Baez Russell.
You just don't jack it up.
No.
This team hasn't given you any reason to trade these guys.
And they're slumping, and
I'm not just saying that because I want Manny Machado either. I'm just saying that
it's not good business.
Don't mess with the young core, man.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that's stupid.
But yes, Almora should play every day.
Okay.
Until he shows that he can't play every day, he should play every day.
All right. Well, one more question. Well, I probably have 2 more actually. I'm going to skip probably one of them, but. Forget about you. What's wrong with Q?
Oh, nice. We were thinking of that all day, weren't you? To touch on you, you looked pretty good.
Did I?
To touch on you?
Yeah, thank you. All right, fantastic.
No, but to touch on Darvish, I thought he looked pretty good the other night. I know he had some cramps. He left early with some cramps, and the Cubs ended up winning that game. Mm-hmm. But I liked what I saw. I think it's a building block type of thing with him. He just needs to go out there and get some innings, man. Because he hasn't had the feel for the fastball, hasn't been locating it very well. He's got these 5 pitches, and obviously the Cubs have been trying to get him to cut down on using all 5 of them, because it's really not necessary to have 5 pitches like that. But when you're switching over, and this is another thing with this Cubs team. We have so much changeover on the coaching side of it that everyone's freaking out and saying, oh, they should be 10 games up. First of all, the Central's pretty decent. Mm-hmm. It's the Pirates are playing over their heads. You still got the Brewers who are leading the division. It's been it's been a dogfight. And I think it's going to be a dogfight for a while here. Usually the Cubs seem to come out of the break and they refocus, they run away with the division. But Q, I don't worry too much about. He hasn't been. Q relies on his location a lot. He doesn't have crazy velocity. He's going to rely on his off-speed pitches. He just hasn't been locating the ball very well. It's a guy that I don't worry about because he's going to find his stride.
I completely agree with that. Q is a historically slow starter.
Absolutely.
And if you remember, reference back the last 2 years, he was with the White Sox. This happens.
All the time.
You got to understand, too, Q's in a new situation, being in the National League and all that noise. I feel like we talk about this every damn video. It's people just freak out about the Cubs.
This is what happens when you win a World Series and your fan base gets hungry for another one and nothing changes on the roster and people thought it was so easy. People think it's so easy to win a World Series. It's probably one of the hardest trophies to win.
It is.
If not, well, I would say the Stanley Cup is probably the hardest to win. But 2016 was the most magical year if you're a Cubs fan. enjoy it because it is so impossible to do that again. Yeah. They were so dominant. I can name on my hand 5 times a team had the best record in the league and won the World Series. Or how many times, the best team usually wins the World Series. Doesn't happen. I mean, last year, you could make an argument that Houston was the best team in the league.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
The year before the Cubs. But before then, I mean, you had mishmashes. How many St. Louis teams have I watched with 86 wins win the World Series? Why? Because they get there and they get hot, and then that's what happens.
It's a game of streaks.
Yeah, and that's kind of we'll address your next question here. Is Joe Madden good or lucky? It's a combination of both. Baseball is both.
Well, I'm seeing a lot of things about this, and believe it or not, I forgot to write it down for the White Sox, but this question, I should have put it below the other question, but this question was what was going to transition into the White Sox.
Okay. I mean,
But go ahead on Joe Madden. I would love to hear your opinion on it.
There are a lot of people that say that Joe Madden won the World Series despite himself in 2016. There's a lot of moves during that you can second guess when you're looking back at a game that goes 10 innings and they win, obviously. Do I agree he should have taken Hendricks out at the time he took him out during the game? No. But that doesn't mean that Joe should still be addressing things like this. When they won the World Series, they had 140 different lineups. Everybody this year is talking about how he changes the lineup all the time. This is what he does. If you look back at the last series against the White Sox too, Javi Baez hit first in the one game that they won, game 1. Game 2, he hit 6th. In the first game, he leads off the game with a triple and puts the White Sox behind the 8 ball.
Which is not hard to do, but
right,
yes.
But still, happen. This is Joe Madden under the radar genius here. So he comes out, hits a triple. They drive him in, up 1-0, and then it kept going. It avalanched after that. Game 2, he bats him 6th, and Javi comes up with the chance to drive people in and hits one into the gap, and he drives people in. The lineup is going to switch based on the matchup and the way Joe looks at that game. Essentially, he wanted his best hitter up to start the game to get a team that struggles out of the gate behind the 8 ball.
Right. So you think that Joe Madden is good?
I think it's both.
How long has he been? How long has he been there? He's been there for 4 years, correct?
Yes. Well,
okay.
2015, 3 years. 2015, 2016, 2017. Yeah, 4 years now.
Yeah, this is his 4th year, right?
My mistake.
Okay, so in 3 years, hang on. In 3 years, you're telling me this guy has made a National League Championship Series three times
back.
With the World Series appearance and win. And people are... Okay, hang on. This is what pisses me off. I'm just going off real quick, and then I'm getting... For the people in Chicago that think that Joe Madden should get fired and that Coach Q for the Blackhawks should get fired, you're fucking stupid.
Agreed.
I'm just telling you now, you're fucking stupid. And I'm sorry to swear and get pissed off like that, but you guys, are you kidding me? That shit's dynasty shit. It's dynasty shit right there. If you think that, please don't talk sports anymore. Because it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
I agree.
Come on, man.
What
a dynasty,
the World Series? The guy
three Stanley Cups.
The guy won the one World Series that you've had in 108 years.
And he's been
and he's bad.
And he's been he's been to the championship series 3 times in a row. It's a joke, and he's probably going for a 4th time in a row.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully, we win this one.
I'm just saying, it's just. I'm sorry. So you want to know? Okay, this is where can I transition now?
Go ahead.
Because this is where you all are talking about firing Joe Madden or Coach Q when you should be fucking talking about firing Rick Renteria.
Ooh,
he's garbage. I know you said in the beginning of the year that you would like Ricky to stay through the success that the White Sox might have. The fact that he put the two worst on-base percentage guys as leadoff in the first 2 games of the Cubs and Sox series, he put Delmonico up there, and yeah, Delmonico is starting to finally hit the ball. You do not put Nicky Delmonico as your leadoff. Why? Then he put Adam Engel. What? Did anybody else see that shit, or was that just me? That sealed his fate for me, because you know why? I was like, okay, you're trying to be Joe Madden by switching up the lineup, you moron?
Yeah, but he's trying to mishmash a bunch of
You're trying to mishmash trash.
He's got nothing, though.
He does have something. Why wouldn't you put Timmy up there? Why wouldn't you do that?
Well, you got to stack the middle of the lineup.
Why wouldn't you put Yolmer Sanchez up there?
See, I get where he was going with that. I know that they're not great players, and I know that they've struggled, and I get the on-base percentage thing, but when you're dealing with a team like the White Sox, does it really matter what lineup you throw out there? Well, does it really matter?
You know what? It does. To the people that fucking pay to want to watch the games and you have fans. Like, don't throw stupid fucking lineups out there that make no sense whatsoever. That was stupid and ignorant. And if I was his boss, that sealed his fate. I would have fired him, right? I would have literally walked out there.
The White Sox season this year is, if you were playing the show, is that you simulate it. It's just be healthy. You know,
I agree with that. But don't be ignorant and stupid.
But you know what he's going to do when Moncada he's back. You know, like, he's back at the top of the lineup.
Yeah, but that was another thing. That was another thing, though, that he did with Moncada. The same thing. Moncada, okay, we're trying to establish him as a leadoff hitter. He's hitting 207, then finally catches a hot streak, and what do? We move him to sixth for 3 games in a row. And then he gets hurt, and then it's just like, dude, like, it just...
it's frustrating when you have to sit and watch losses, and I think that's a lot.
It's not just that, but
you got to give Rick a break because he's got nothing, dude.
I understand. I understand he has nothing, but it showed me there and then, dude, that this is not the manager to lead us into the promised land. He is Doug Collins.
Interesting. See, I don't know yet. I can't.
Not even as good as Doug Collins.
First of all. Lead you because as much as many prospects as the White Sox have, it's a rebuild. So you don't know who's going to be the guy the guy's going to be. You don't.
So, but I pretty much watched almost every Sox game this year, and just watching Ricky's decisions this year has really turned me off. And I thought, and I was all open-minded, man. Ricky Renteria, he did some good things last year. He kind of irritated me a few times last year and whatnot. But going into this and watching this, I'm just kind of like, you know what, man?
Well, what's Ricky's contract?
Oh, I would have to look it up. I don't know.
Because, well,
Jerry Reinsdorf is worth like $2.1 billion. If you got to pay him out $1 million, it ain't going to hurt him.
Yeah, but that team is not known for that. They don't usually have 2 managers. To me, he's there for the foreseeable future.
Well, he's there because Ricky. It was actually a talk that me and the Sports Mockery dudes were having last night in our group chat. Was Ricky Renteria is like that blue collar kind of guy that Sox fans can relate with, and then plus with the players that we have on our team, most of them are Hispanic, and he's the Hispanic manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't care about any of that. I'm just saying. I don't like the calls that he makes, and I don't like what I'm seeing now.
That's fair.
And I don't think that he's gonna be the guy. I mean, I just calls wise, when I look at that lineup, I think there's 2, maybe 3 that are gonna be on that team even 2 years from now. So to me, when you set that lineup, it's like, I think that
you're just grasping at straws trying to win a game. I understand that, especially them going in, what they were doing wasn't working either.
Well, realistically here, and just to go with me here, we have obviously we have young guys in the lineup that I think can be a part of the future. I've said this on the air before. Right. Obviously Moncada, obviously Tim Anderson, obviously Yomir Sanchez is going to be around in some sort of capacity. He's hitting the ball lights out.
Yeah, it's
Jose Abreu doing great, and a potential dark horse all-star nod this year is going to be Matt Davidson.
Yeah, he's been really solid.
He's been very solid. So there's a million different possibilities here. I just don't like how Rick has been juggling the lineup. I don't like what he's been doing. But, I mean...
It just reminds me of, the 2012, 2011, 2013 Cubs. If you asked me... I'm sure there was the same story about Ricky, too. But what did he have to work with? I'm one of the few people, I think Joe Maddon's a great manager, but I also think that Joe is lucky sometimes. You know what I mean? I also think that a manager maybe necessarily doesn't make as much impact as we think. Right. Because once they go through one part of the batting order, it's usually all messed up anyway. Your leadoff hitter is only your leadoff hitter once. After that, it's hopefully you're hitting.
Oh, God, that's bad joke.
And, what is that?
Sorry about that. It's Grayson Allen. It says confirmed Bulls at 22.
Oh, jeez, that's terrible.
God. Yeah, no shit.
No, I would give Ricky a break.
Since he's your boy, I might think about it, but as of right now...
Well, he's not my boy, first of all.
I thought you liked him.
I like Ricky. I think that for what this is right now, He's good for what you got.
Oh, he's good for suck.
Well, he's good at teaching the game because he was for the Cubs too. He was good at teaching the game for a while there. And then they brought in a guy that can make the actual, in-game moves in a playoff.
He was Doug Collins.
Well,
and then Phil Jackson came in, a.k.a. Joe Madden, and won a ring.
Well, Phil Jackson had the greatest player ever.
You might.
I mean, and he had Scottie Pippen, top 50 year. I mean, it's not basketball.
I'm just saying,
it's so different.
It is so different. I'm making the comparison. He's the placeholder.
I understand what you're saying. He's a placeholder, and he might be a placeholder. But to me, his contract runs out because the White Sox do not do this. They don't take on two coaches at once. They don't pay two.
Well,
that's just not normal.
Well, hopefully we change that because I don't like him. But transitioning into what everybody's been waiting for. Well, it's been asked of us, and we actually did do this, and then we decided that, you know what?
Scrap it.
We're going to scrap it, and we're going to do another one because we didn't like the way it turned out. We're going to do the 2018 Chicago Bears schedule breakdown, and I'm just going to spew off right now what my finishing record is going to be. My finishing record is...
I didn't even do that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, then we won't do it that way.
No, go ahead.
Okay, well...
Take your time.
Our finishing record is going to be, in my mind, how I just broke everything down. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think we're either going to be 7-9 or 8-8. When I broke down the record when I broke down the games, just looking at everything and looking how things fall, I do think that we're going to be 7-9 or 8-8. Like, we could get a game in there. I don't think it's our year yet. I really hope I'm wrong because I would love to go to some playoff football games, but
that'd be something.
We're not making the playoffs. I guarantee that. But into our schedule breakdown, going into game one here, we're
go ahead, go nuts about at home against the Packers.
Yeah.
I need just 2 seconds.
That's no problem. It's at Lambeau Field for I believe it's the 100th year anniversary of Lambeau Field. I do think that we're getting a win there. And the reason I say that is I think that all the newbies are coming out to play hard. They're going to try to show what they're all about. Mitch is in his second year under a new offense, and Green Bay's defense isn't all that in a bag of chips. So, I'm going to say that I think that the Bears steal that one. Interesting tidbit about the Packers. I don't know if you saw what Jason Witten said, but he did say that Des Bryant to the Packers might be a lock. So
really,
yeah, that kind of sucks. But I ain't scared. But I think that we pick up a win against the Packers in Week 1 at Lambeau Field for the 100th year anniversary.
All right, and I also do because I think that there's going to be no tape on Matt Nagy's offense. I mean, realistically, there's going to be some preseason games we're going to be able to look at. But I don't think there's going to be enough to really game plan. And I think that the team, at the status it's at, and from what we've heard out of mini camps and training camps coming up, within the next couple months here, they really like playing for Nagy. I think that they'll be energized going into Lambeau Field. I'm going to take the Bears to win this one. I don't know about handily. And I think this might be like the first kind of wrinkle in this year that we look at and we're like, man, the Bears really got it right. Getting Nagy, getting the wide receivers. They're going to have a lot of playmakers on the field. Obviously, the Vic Fangio defense is going to be very similar to what it was last year, but you're going to have different playmakers inside and outside that you're going to be able to lean on. I think that this is a game that kind of matches up good for the Bears because I'm a creature of habit, at least I know I am, and I know players are as well. And when you throw in a ceremony or something else that throws the player clock off, it's tough. It's tough to stay focused, especially if you're the team that the ceremony is for. So I'm not going to say that the Bears are going to blow them out because that's not going to happen because Packers-Bears games are usually close. They come down to 1 or 2 plays. But I think this is the first time that you really look at what the Bears have here and you say, man, we really actually have a normal coach, a normal guy, a good quarterback, and we're building here. I think this season, as much as we're let's make the playoffs. It'd be great. Mm-hmm. Love to make the playoffs. I think this is one of these seasons that you're going to have to look at and say, what were the mini points of the season that showed me that I'm on the right track here? Because if they make the playoffs, they're not a Super Bowl contender. They're just not. They're probably a one and done and a wild card team that's going to have to go on the road to win a game to stay. But I just don't see the schedule the way it plays out at the end of the year. It's very tough.
Right. Well, it's the 8th hardest schedule in the league.
Right. So, but yeah, I do think that they win the first game of the season.
All right. Well, I actually have them winning at home Monday Night Football against Seattle. I'm not scared of Seattle's team. Their defense is depleted. Russell Wilson's good. Obviously he's a good quarterback. They don't really have much to work with over there in Seattle. They got Doug Baldwin. There's no one I'm scared of. And their running game's questionable. Defense and all that. We're going to win that game. I think that we're going to be starting off 2-0 here against the Seahawks, and then after that, I think I'll tell you what I think after we get what you think.
That's the thing too. I have a hard time giving them the 2-0 nod because a lot of teams that start 2-0 usually make the playoffs. And I just don't... I think that there's some holes on this team still that a guy like Russell Wilson is going to be able to expose. And a lot of people have talked about the pass rush. And on a guy like that, you're going to have to keep him in the pocket and obviously not let him beat you with his feet. And this is one of these games that I was coin flipped on because I get your point that nothing on their roster really does scare you, but they're still coached by Pete Carroll, who I think is a great coach. I wouldn't say he's like the top coach in the league because obviously that's Bill Belichick, but I put Pete in like the top of the echelon there. But you're right, their defense is depleted. They're rebuilding the defense, but I can't give them the 2-0 nod because that. To me, that means that they're going to make the playoffs, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to if they start off 2-0 that it's going to necessarily mean they make the playoffs because
look at the stats though.
I'm sure there are
70% usually make the playoffs.
Right. I see them taking the first 2 games, and then we're going to start going on a little bit of an L streak here. Arizona.
Okay.
Is the next game, and I do believe that is at Arizona. It is at Arizona.
It is.
My computer's going crazy right now. Oh my gosh, my stuff just shut down on me. Oh boy.
That's not good.
It's the internet, not the app we're recording on.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, just the internet. So, that's fantastic, dude. Stupid ass computer. Anyway, I don't know who's going to be starting at Week 3's time for Arizona, but I do know that they have a good quarterback in Sam Bradford, and I do know they have an NFL-ready quarterback in Josh Rosen. They still have David Johnson as a running back, which he's a very good running back. They drafted Christian Kirk. They have Larry Fitzgerald. They have Jermaine Gresham. Their offense is pretty deadly.
Yeah, it's really solid.
Their defense isn't as scary, but they got some good players over there on their defense also. They got Patrick Peterson. They got Brandon Williams, who's not bad. They got Chandler Jones. I mean, there's a lot of people on their defense that could be very good, and I think that Arizona is going to take this game from us.
I had us winning this one. Actually.
Really? Yeah, that's my first loss.
Because I looked at the roster and not knowing that none of those that quarterback doesn't scare me. No matter who they start. If they start Glennon, if they start Bradford, if they start. And I know Bradford's giving us some fits.
I guarantee right now, and it's not going to happen, but if they started Mike Glennon, I guarantee we'd lose that game.
And he'd go off for like 5 touchdowns.
He'd throw 500 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 picks, and he would just literally
lit us up. Like I said, I like this matchup for the Bears. Like you said, the defense, they kind of piece things together. I don't think it's that scary. Their offense, yeah, sure, they have some weapons on it, but I mean, if your quarterback can't get the ball to your weapons, it doesn't matter. We don't know what David Johnson's going to look like after the surgery and having a rough go last year with I think he tore an ACL. So this is one of these two that I looked at and I said it wouldn't surprise me if they won, and it also wouldn't surprise me if they lost. Because there's just so many question marks up in the air for Arizona. We don't know who's going to start. We don't know who's going to be on the field and healthy. It's hard to make these picks, but I had them winning this one based on the rosters today.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just still think they lose that game. But then coming up against having Tampa here in Chicago, I have us losing to Tampa Bay. I think that's a team that's out here trying to prove something. They have plenty of offensive weapons that I think that are going to give the Bears fits. Their defense has been, kind of revamped, added some good draft picks over there on the D. So I honestly think that we end up losing and we fall to 2-2 with playing Tampa.
I had them losing as well. Jameis Winston, for some reason or another, always gives us fits. I don't know why. He always seems to bring it. I think this is one of these games that our corners maybe get kind of torched a little bit, because while I do think that Fuller had a good season last year, him against Mike Evans, I'll take Mike Evans all day. Not
to mention they got Deshaun Jackson over there.
Yeah, right. It's not a good matchup for the Bears. And they just got a new running back, so who knows how that's going to be regarding their running game, because they need something to lean on. Obviously, Jameis kind of puts the ball.
Their defense and then plus
the defense is pretty solid.
Jason Pierre-Paul, Gerald McCoy, Vita Vea come in there with a first-round draft pick.
Tampa Bay is low-key. They could have a really solid team next year.
Do you know who they're still starting at their strong safety?
Who? Chris Conte?
The one and the only. The one and the only, Kyle.
Well, Randall Cobb will run right by him.
Again. So I have us falling 2-2 when it comes to that. And then our next game, which is against Miami. Miami has all sorts of problems.
They're terrible.
They have all sorts of problems. I actually have us beating Miami in Miami.
So do I. This one's cut and paste. They're terrible.
Yeah, Ryan Tannehill's bad. Brock Osweiler's bad. They got Frank Gore. He's old. Their wide receiver. They got Kenny Stills.
Yeah. They traded everybody.
They had a fire sale. So for the 2019 draft, they're going to be up there.
Agreed.
So
this is cut and paste. The Bears should win this one.
Yeah, Bears should win that one. Patriots, all said and done, boys.
It's a loss.
Boys and girls, we already know.
There we go. Over.
I'm not even going to break that game down. The New York Jets.
Give me a win in that one.
I actually have us winning that one.
I do too.
So
I think that's pretty cut and paste. Their new quarterback, not very talented. I think we're a little bit better. Obviously, I couldn't say that we're talented because
I am super goddamn talented.
But yeah, I got him winning this.
Yeah,
one.
I mean Todd Bowles, he's going to be bringing in with a brand new quarterback here. You still got Josh McCown, but they drafted Sam Darnold, and I understand Sam Darnold's behind Teddy Bridgewater and Josh McCown. McCown.
Well, for now.
Yeah, for now. That's not going to last long. That's going to be a storyline all year. The whole nine. I don't completely understand what's got what their direction is, but I mean getting Sam Darnold for them was pretty big. So, we'll take it. We'll take it as it is with that. While Juice is going to pee or whatever the hell he's doing right now, going to plug once again. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Read awesome articles on SportsMockery.com. Check out all of our other shows here on Most Valuable Podcasts, such as the Onside Kick for all your NFL news, such as the Fast Break for all of your NBA news, and the Primetime Podcast for all your college basketball and football needs. That's about it. I could sit here and stare at the camera. I don't want to continue going on because, he's going to break it down, then I'm going to get super far ahead of him. But you know what? Screw it. I could be a one-man gig. I don't need any goddamn help. So, Sean McDermott's Buffalo Bills are up next, and in this game, I have the Bears losing to the Buffalo Bills. What do you got for that?
The Bills are good. Their defense is good. I know that they don't have the quarterback situation set and ready to go.
I love the competition, though, between a quarterback who didn't get a chance in A.J. McCarron and a drafted quarterback in Josh Allen.
I do, too. I just don't know. Obviously, there's so much up in the air with that. We don't know if any of these guys are going to be good. But the defense is just so electric.
Badass. We mean adding Tremaine Edmonds and all them?
Yeah, they're going to be a really scary group. It wouldn't surprise me if they're number one in the league because they get a lot of pressure on the quarterback already. They added a freak in Edmonds. Mm-hmm. So I have them losing this one to the Circle the Wagon Buffalo Bills.
Gotcha. I also have them losing. Then moving forward to the Detroit Lions game, and this is versus the Lions, so this means this is at home at Soldier Field. We're going to steal this one.
Agreed.
We're going to steal this one against Detroit.
We're going to take it.
We are. We're going to take it. We're going to give it
sucks.
to them. Yeah, screw you, Detroit.
Screw you, Detroit.
I don't care what you think.
Chicago podcast.
Boy.
No, I just, at home, Matt Stafford, he turns the ball over a decent amount. Detroit doesn't scare me either.
Nah.
They're a team that's just kind of stuck in mediocrity. You know,
Exactly.
really, when you look at it.
But I do think they're better than us right now.
Agreed.
But I do feel that
we're not even mediocre yet.
No, we do
We're
steal
getting there.
this game, though. Then we play the Vikings. We're losing. The Vikings are the best team in the NFC. Maybe Los Angeles will give them some fits, along with Philadelphia, of course. Philadelphia won the Super Bowl, and that's who provides our opening song, Circa Survive, from the state of Pennsylvania, and they are fans of the Philadelphia Eagles. I forget to say that sometimes. There's their sign over there, and they're tattooed on my arm. Love you guys if you're watching. Anyway, but the Vikings are
good.
them, Los Angeles, and Philly. I'm very, very interested to see what happens with that race. I mean, I'm not going to get into that right now.
Man,
like they added Kirk Cousins, who's a damn good quarterback.
He is. He's going to slang.
He's got weapons around him. That defense is scary. They're talking about the Purple People Eaters are back.
Well, I don't know about that.
Hey,
that defense was crazy good back in the day.
It was, but they're very good now too.
No, agreed. And they're like we've
that's
addressed.
No-brainer.
They
We're
have a
losing
short
that.
run here. Because they're going to have to pay.
I think they got a 3-year window.
They're going to have to pay some people, though.
Right.
You know, there's some contracts that on that defensive line that they're going to have to address. They might not be able to keep everybody.
They have a 2-3-year window here. I mean, just for this year coming up, they're going to kick our ass.
Yeah, agreed. I didn't have us winning one against them.
Neither do I. So moving into the Lions at Detroit, and I do believe that is on Thanksgiving. The Lions are going to get on that. They're going to win that.
Yeah, I agree.
They're going to win that at home.
Yeah.
I think that Detroit's going to be a lot better than people think. I think that we actually have. I think that we have. Dude, we have like the hardest. I feel like it's the hardest division.
Yeah, it's there
in football. I mean,
you can't count out any team with Aaron Rodgers on
every team. Kirk Cousins is a good damn quarterback, and now he has weapons around him.
Detroit going to Detroit though.
Yeah, Detroit going to Detroit for sure. But that's not the point. They're good. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and you have a monster team in Minnesota. We have a rough division, and I think we're losing this game to Detroit.
So do I. They're at home. It's Thanksgiving. They're going to be in the thick of the race, maybe, for a wild card spot. Because I think Minnesota's running away with the division. So it's really going to be a fight to see between Green Bay and Detroit to see who gets into the playoffs. And who even knows with that? Obviously, the West is going to be a lot better than we think too, because Jimmy Garoppolo out there won 5 in a row, and they made some good moves, which we'll talk about in a second here. But yeah, I have them losing that one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and then we're gonna lose again to the Giants.
Ooh, interesting. See,
I
have them winning this one.
I think the Giants are going to come play this year.
Really?
Yeah. I do. I honestly, I think that the Giants are going to come out and be a lot better than they were last year.
To me, they still have Eli Manning.
They had so many injuries last year.
Yeah, but they still have Eli Manning. He still turns the ball over eventually a lot of times. I think maybe this is and actually, see, looking at this schedule, it was hard for me not to have them go 5-11.
Ooh.
Because the back end of the schedule is just so rough. You're going to play in Detroit on Thanksgiving, followed by at New York. So you're in New York. Then you play, to me, the Rams are the low-key going to be right there.
Dark horse Super Bowl candidates.
Then Green Bay at home with Aaron Rodgers late in the year, who is always fighting for a playoff spot and brings the A game. And then you're looking at the 49ers, who, decent, we've talked about this just a few seconds ago. They made a lot of moves. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a good player. And then you got the Vikings at home, which this one could be a win because the Vikings could have everything.
Oh, if they have a very good record, they're going to sit their starters.
Right.
Right. I mean, that could happen, but right now we don't know, so that's why, obviously, we don't know what their record's going to be. But
so to me...
But I do think the reason I'm picking...
The back end of the schedule is so difficult.
It is difficult, but I do think that New York comes out and wins this game. I think that Odell Beckham Jr. is coming back. They have Cody Latimer. They have some weapons on the offensive end. Adding Saquon Barkley. Let's see how he does. Their defense ain't half bad. They're not great.
Right.
But, they're not half bad. I think that the Bears get in their head here, and I think they lose this game. I also have them losing Week 14 to the Rams at home.
Okay. See, I have them beating the Giants, and that's the last win of the season for them.
Okay.
And then I have them losing out.
So you have them losing from there. Okay, that's fine.
Which, if you look at the schedule, I'm not going to pick... See, the Packer game, I could see them winning.
They're winning
at home.
Yeah, they're winning that. I picked them to win that.
Depending on how healthy Aaron Rodgers is, because the last couple of years he really hasn't been, it's a whole different team.
I did this as realistic as I possibly could, but I'm going to be honest with you.
We're probably way off.
I'm not picking them to lose the bet. I'm not going to do that.
You just have them win them both.
Right. I'm going to do that every time,
2-14, and then they just win
both games against. But yeah,
I would be happy with that.
Me too. I'd be fine. But yeah, so I have them actually beating the Packers and beating the 49ers in San Fran.
Okay. See, I have them losing to the Rams, losing to the Packers, losing to 49ers, losing to the Vikings.
And then I have them coming off of the last game of the season. And the only reason I had them beating the 49ers is because of your love for Jimmy G. And his hometown team's going to go in there and smack his little ass around.
Okay, see, and I'm going to preview Week 16, now. Because to me, this is the ultimate Bears moment. We're going to realize if you should have made the move for Jimmy G, or if you're better off with Mitch Trubisky. And it could end up being that they're both really, really good. And you're all right. But one of them, to me, is already really good. And I'm a firm believer in Jimmy G strictly because I think that he's got it between the head. He was coached up. He has the ability and the quick release to be a good football player, a good quarterback in this league. I'm a believer in what he's doing, and it's not just because he lived across the street from me when I went to Eastern Illinois, but I really do think that he's capable of being
a good quarterback
in the league. And
I'm not saying
the defense got better for the 49ers.
I'm not saying that he's not a good quarterback. I'm just saying that to pull your chain a little bit, I think that we're going to go in there and smack their ass around because I don't like San Francisco. So,
that's fair.
Yeah. They've added pieces. They're going to be a good team, but I think the Bears steal that one. Give us one more win before we come back and we lose to the Vikings to end our depressing 7-9 season.
What is up with the schedule of us always ending the year in Minnesota? Have you noticed that? I think it's 3 years in a row.
Is it?
They've ended the year in Minnesota.
I never pay attention, yeah.
So I know they did last year, but I know they are again. But yeah, I had them at 6-10. I know that's our listeners are going to probably be like, oh, well.
Oh yeah, but don't you know what they added? Guys, yeah, we know what they added,
but
it's the 8th toughest schedule in the league with a brand new coach, Mitch, who is having to learn a brand new system.
Right.
Again, and a lot of these players having to learn a brand new system. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of factors here, man. Our defense can hold up. I just think that. Per matchups, per how the schedule looks, I just think we're not a playoff team. We're not getting a wild card. So I'm thinking 7-9, 8-8 is fair. I have them at 7-9.
See, I have them at 6-10. They have the pick, within the top 8 at that point, I believe, and they pick a pass rusher, and then next year they come out ready to make playoffs.
Right.
Because I think that all these wide receivers are going to need a year to learn the system, and you got a couple coming back from major injuries. Obviously, Mitch learning a new system. I like Nagy. I think he's going to be a great coach in this league. I think that the Bears are going to be someone to be reckoned with for a while in the NFC North. I just think that this is the last year we got to suffer.
Let's hope so.
And at that point, we'll have our playoff tickets, and the podcast will be through the roof, and we'll be famous. And
yep, we'll be doing a lot of cool things.
So, but yeah, no, I have some optimism for the Bears. I think the Bears, for me, I picked them at 6-10 looking at the schedule. But if you told me tomorrow that it's 100% certainty that they're going to go 9-7, wouldn't be surprised either.
Right.
Because a coach like Nagy and a system like Nagy, if it works, will resonate throughout the league and throughout Hallis Hall. It'll stay and it will keep. And if people really do believe in it, then hey, as Michael Jordan said, the ceiling is the roof. So to me, I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I hope I'm wrong. 9-7. I hope I flip this. I hope we flip this and we're 10-6, and we're not talking about.
And then we're talking about playoffs.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree wholeheartedly. I'm just giving I'm giving the people my real, honest to God opinion.
Right.
I pay to go see this team. I love this team, and this is what the case is, man. This is my opinion. But again, if you were watching on YouTube, I know I just said it while he was doing his thing. If you were watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Throw some ideas down there on what you guys want us to talk about next regarding the Bears, regarding any Chicago team, really, or any team that you want to hear about.
Up our sleeve too, because we want to try to do some training camp stuff.
Oh yeah.
Maybe not maybe there, but maybe film some stuff and bring you some content that way. We got a lot we're working out with the Bears, and this is kind of like we were doing position breakdowns for a while, and I think we can get back to doing those now.
Yeah, it makes sense now that we're kind of where we're at. So,
but this is kind of like the lull before training camp, before everything starts to kind of pick up. So if you guys really want to comment below and give us some ideas, man. Like if you want us to even go back and talk about old Bears, we'll talk 85. We'll talk the teams in the 90s and 2000s and Mike Brown years, and we could do a lot of things here. This is for you guys.
Absolutely.
For Chicago, by Chicago.
All day. Make sure you go to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. Donate or earn yourself some cool prizes. Go to mostvaluablepodcast.com. Get yourself a cool t-shirt. See all the other shows that we have, such as the Primetime Podcast, the Onside Kick, and the Fast Break. Go to iTunes.com or iTunes app, whatever the hell it is, and drop us a 5-star rating down below and a comment. Or drop us a 5-star rating and a comment down below on why you chose to listen to us. We will be on there eventually. Right now,
we're working through it,
doing what we got to do. But yeah, check all that out.
Any guests for next week, Buzz? You thinking?
For what?
For the pod. Any guests? We've had some guests on recently.
I really, really want to get Kyle Hood on from Three Guys Sports. I'd really love to get him on. I'd really love to get Zoe or Eric Lambert from or even Eastman from Sports Mockery on. As of right now, I haven't really talked to anybody about doing it because we had guests 2 weeks in a row and we haven't really got to break anything down. But I mean, there's some things in the works. If something hot happens, like especially with the NBA, we got guys.
Bring somebody in.
We got guys for that now.
Maybe Kelly again.
Yeah. Anytime. I told Kelly anytime he wants to come on, he can come on. But I'm thinking I would really like to have Kyle Hood from @3GuySports on Twitter or Keith from @BullScripted, because I mean Keith is the one who is high on Kevin Knox, like super high on Kevin Knox. So
maybe we'll do each team will have a guest for one of these pods coming up.
Yeah. Yeah,
so,
I think
we got some Bears guys, we got some Bulls guys, and we got some Cubs and Sox. So maybe each team will get a fresh view of not just us kind of jamming information down people's throat.
Yeah, exactly.
Fresh views are always
fresh,
good.
raw perspective, and not just hearing us talk about the same stuff every episode makes the world go around. So thank you guys for listening to episode 11. We'll be back next Thursday. Well, that's when we record. We'll be back next Thursday with episode 12. Let us know what you guys want to hear, and we appreciate all your time and listening to us and all the support. Later.
Thanks.